What's up guys, Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com. Today we continue our best dumbbell exercise series, this time bringing you the legs edition. Now let's get this out of the way right off the bat, guys. Your best exercise options when it comes to your legs are always going to likely involve a barbell, squats and deadlifts to name a few. However, that's not the rules of the series. As we've continued here from the very beginning, there are some rules in place. I gotta select dumbbell exercises, but I requested a return favor, that I need to at least be able to categorize them. Based on training goals, I need to be able to slot in those exercise choices for strength, hypertrophy, power, a metabolic exercise, a total body option, a corrective exercise option, and finally, one of those miscellaneous that don't really fit in any of those other categories. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break those down, exercise by exercise, and I'm gonna... Can I get through a video without you?
Whoa. I think that I should be taking care of this video because, as we know, I've made some serious leg gains.
Okay, Freddie Mercury?
Thank you for the compliment on the mustache, by the way.
It wasn't a compliment. I think I can handle this, as I always handle my videos, but I wouldn't call myself... Why do you think you could do this?
Because I think you should be calling me the king of quads.
The king of quads.
King of quads. I think that's a better nickname than Freddie Mercury.
I don't think it's really the king of quads.
You know, looks more like the queen of quads to me.
See, I agree. That's a better name for you, actually.
I can't win, can I?
No, you can't. All right, guys, we're going to kick it all off here with our strength exercise. I'm actually going to give you two, because I want to give you one anterior chain knee dominant exercise and one posterior chain hip dominant exercise, because it matters.
Pardon me. When you say posterior chain, are we talking about the glutes, like a fat bottom girl? Because, as we all know, fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round.
Oh, we're going to have to do this the whole video. Guys, let's start with the anterior chain knee dominant exercise. We're talking about the reverse lunge, one of my favorite exercises you can do. I love unilateral training, but I also like the fact that we can load this one in particular a little bit heavier. You can use 100+ dumbbells here if you want, and you can manage them. The fact is, it's how you perform the exercise that will matter. And here for anterior chain, because we can sit back but upright, we can really load up the quads in a big way. Now you can see that when Jesse does this, he's actually stepping not just straight back, because that would narrow his base of support and maybe make the exercise vulnerable to someone that has a weak balance. But we don't need to do that. As he steps back, he can also step a little bit out to widen that base of support, widen his stance, and give himself the best opportunity to just continue to load the exercise and for the purposes of building his strength. Now, if we switch over to the other side here, we got to go posterior chain. My exercise for this is going to be the Romanian deadlift. Again, what we do here is we actually perform this very much in the same way we would with a barbell. We let the dumbbells slide down, and the main focus here is just allowing the hips to hinge backwards. I'm not even really caring where the dumbbells go. Their travel should be straight up and down. The main thing is you should be focused on that movement in the sagittal plane of the hips, getting them to creep back as far as your hamstring length will allow you. And when you get there, you initiate the return by squeezing and driving with the glutes back up to the top. If you are limited here in the depth that you can go because of the flexibility of your hamstrings, it shouldn't compromise the fact that you can still overload them with as heavy dumbbells as you can possibly hold here and still get great benefits from the exercise. All right, moving on now, we go to the hypertrophy exercise selections. And once again here, I'm going to give you two. One more for the anterior chain, one more for the posterior chain. And my anterior chain selection is always the Bulgarian split squat.
Oh, sorry, did you say Bohemian split squat? That's, you know, part of my favorites on Bohemian Rhapsody.
I said we're not doing this the whole video.
Do you want me to leave?
I want you to leave desperately.
I'm just a poor boy. I need no sympathy.
The Bulgarian split squat is a great exercise for the anterior chain. Why? We actually are able to do it two ways. We can actually do it in a more anterior dominant or posterior dominant way depending upon how we align our torso. Let's check out the anterior chain first. If you're going to try to load your quads and train your quads here, your main focus should be keeping an upright torso as much as possible. Chest out, shoulders back, drop straight down, load the quad. Now what we can do if we want to get some more out of this and make this even more of a hypertrophy overload, we can add in some intensity techniques like the 1.5 technique, which is one of my favorite. You go down to the bottom, you come up only halfway, you have to go back to the bottom again, and then you return up. We also now can change this exercise, like I said, to become more posterior chain dominant, and all that requires is a change in torso position. You can see Jesse just leans his torso a little bit more forward to load that posterior chain. Nothing changes from this point on. As he goes down, the back angle stays angled forward, and he drives up and back. You'll immediately be able to feel the difference in the load shifting towards the glutes to perform the exercise. Again, same techniques can still be used here by prolonging the amount of tension that we focus on those muscles to create more of that hypertrophy benefit. All right, moving on, now we bring up the category of power. And to choose an exercise properly here, guys, you have to have one that allows you to accelerate the weights that you're moving. Power is going to rely on your ability to move the weights you're moving quickly. And my favorite exercise here is the dumbbell jump squat. This exercise is designed to allow you to not only become more explosive, but it actually carries over well to some of the more explosive exercises like the hang clean or the power clean. The key here is to choose a weight that's not too heavy that actually is going to slow down your ability to perform this properly. So I like to aim for a weight that's combined to be about 25 to 50% of your body weight. So if you're a 200-pound person, you're looking at a combined weight of 50 pounds, so 25 pounds in each hand. Remember, you want to make sure that you're achieving triple extension, meaning you want to extend through the ankles, the knees, and then the hips in that sequence to allow the kinetic chain to pass that power from the ground up into this explosive jump. But it doesn't just end there, guys. You also have to make sure that you can eccentrically control the landing, reset recoil, and prepare yourself for another high-quality repetition. Because it's not about training to failure when you're training for power. It's not about training to a certain level of fatigue. What you're trying to do is accumulate only high-quality, powerful repetitions in a defined period of time to maximize that speed output and to maximize overall your power generation. All right, moving on now, we actually have an option for a metabolic overload. Knowing that we can...
I know this one. We're talking about bicycles, aren't we? Riding a bicycle. Because you know, I want to ride my bicycle.
I said, no more Freddie Mercury.
No more?
No more Freddie Mercury, please.
Do you really want me out?
I want you out. Like, bye.
Bicycle, I want to.
Okay, so... thank you for hanging with me. We talk about actually something called walk the box. This is a brutal ball buster. I'm going to call it what it is. I actually used this, as you can see here, when the Usos and Sheamus from the WWE came into the Xbox here to train. What we're doing here is we're trying to build our mental fortitude. We're trying to actually get to that metabolic burn and then figure out a way that we can savor that and prolong that. It's not easy, but it delivers different overload benefits. So what we do is we get down in position here with 2 dumbbells in the front rack position, and we walk the box. You're literally just tracing a square around a small area of the floor in front of you. Now we really focus on proper placement of the hips. You don't want your knees caving in into internal rotation of the hips. What you want to do is you want to be able to stay down the bottom of this squat, maintain still proper form, maintain good thoracic extension through your upper back, and be able to walk around. It's good because we're getting 3-dimensional movement as well. But you'll see that you're going to light your legs up in ways that you never have before, and it's whether or not you can withstand that and for how long you can to see how much benefit you get from doing this. How much of the metabolic burn can you tolerate? I promise you, give it a try. Maybe don't even try dumbbells if you can't at the beginning just to get the form down, but add those dumbbells in, and I promise you again, a real ball buster. Next up, our total body option, and what we can do here is we can actually utilize the dumbbells in a very similar way to what we would do with a barbell, because we can use a clean variation here. One of my favorite exercises when we're talking about total body force generation here is a squat clean. And what we do is we have a pair of dumbbells, and these can be, again, pretty heavy. There's no reason why you can't load up 100 pounds here if you're that strong. I guarantee you're going to find that that's pretty damn challenging. So start lighter, but the idea is you clean them from the floor and you try to get them up into that front rack position. One of the best things you can do to ensure you do this properly is to try to time your stomp with the catch of the dumbbells onto your shoulders. And the good thing is if you catch the bottom portion of the dumbbell on top of your shoulder here, it's going to get your elbows up into that proper front rack position. The key here, guys, this is a great exercise. It builds the power and strength of the entire kinetic chain once again, and it gives us another option to utilize some dumbbells that could still challenge us regardless of the fact that we don't have access to a barbell. The next exercise is actually tailor-made for the use of dumbbells, and that is when we select our corrective exercise. And when it comes to the lower body, guys, one of the most overlooked muscle complexes is going to be the adductor complex. 5 muscles on the inside of your legs here that are going to actually provide not just stability of your pelvis, but they actually assist you in getting out of the hole at the bottom of a squat. in some of our traditional barbell exercises. And they're actually worked perfectly here with the lighter weight of a dumbbell. So what we do is we get one of our feet that we can slide on a surface. I don't care if you have a hardwood floor, if you have a tile floor like this, you get into a pair of socks, you put your one foot on a more stable surface, and you allow the sliding foot to just drop down as you shift all of your weight to the other leg. And when we get down there, how do you get out? The entire movement up is going to be generated by allowing the stretch that was created on the adductors on that side to actually allow you to come back to the top by squeezing and shortening back up to the top. You'll realize that these muscles are pretty damn weak. So what the purpose of the corrective exercise is to allow us to attack that weakness with a very specific attack plan. I promise you're going to find this to be an incredibly effective exercise at targeting a weakness you maybe never even knew you had. All right, guys, we finish up here in our specialization category, or I guess our miscellaneous potluck category, where we actually can apply other exercises that don't really fit neatly into one of the other categories, but are nonetheless still very important. Because what I'm going to show you here actually allows us to target those hips once again, but instead of the inside out, we're going to go from the outside in, and we're going to target the glute medius, a muscle just as overlooked and underworked as the adductor complex. And the best way to do this here is with this offset dumbbell lunge. And what we do is we actually load the dumbbell in one hand and we're going to step out and lunge with the opposite leg. Of course, you're going to work both sides of this. But the fact is what we're creating is this demand on the glute medius to maintain a level torso and a level pelvis throughout the exercise. Because as the weight is placed in this opposite hand and I step out with the other leg, we have a tendency to want to have the weight pull us in that direction, especially if we're using something incredibly heavy. To counteract that, guys, we have to use the glute medius on this side to pull us back, to get ourselves back up to level, or to prevent us from falling in that direction in the first place. There's a tremendous exercise option to do that. And again, you're going to feel a burn in your hip here you probably haven't felt before, but that's a good thing because it's exposing the weakness that you've already allowed to take place. All right, so there you have it, guys. The best stuff. Wait, what are you doing here? I told you to leave.
Oh, you know, can't stop me now. Don't stop me now.
Out. Guys, back to the list here. Hopefully you find these dumbbell exercises helpful. Again, it's important to break down the exercises that we select here because there are different types of training purposes in what you're trying to train for. Hopefully these will actually fulfill those different categories for you. If you're looking for a step-by-step program, guys, where we actually build out all of our plans based on the science of the selection of what we do, not just in the exercises we choose, but how we lay them all out from day to day, you can find them over at ATHLEAN-X.com. In the meantime, if you haven't already done so, please.
Hey, did you see Freddie Mercury here?
Did
you get his autograph?
No, did you?
I didn't see him. I saw him go out the door.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't get it.
Oh.
I didn't get it. Hey, can you tell them to subscribe at least while you're here?
Hey, guys, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications. It's really important.
Right, okay. Right, where can they find our programs?
ATHLEAN-X.com.
And what should they do?
Leave a comment and thumbs up below and let us know what you want to see in the future.
Said it all, guys. All right, be back here again soon, guys. See ya. Bye, Freddie.
Bye.